Hello students, this is the third chapter of your political science book that says why do we need a parliament. In the previous classes we have studied the process of election and we said elections are necessary for the government to be formed. Now this government represents the people's idea and their views, so therefore the people you elect would be representing you at the national level, and those people who are representing you and those you have voted forms the parliament. Now this parliament is composed of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, that's the upper house and the lower house. Now let's read briefly about the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha is known as upper house, Lok Sabha is known as lower house. In Rajya Sabha you have maximum 250 members, of which we say the present Rajya Sabha has 245 members, of which 12 are nominated and the rest are from various fields like art, science and literature. Lok Sabha is directly elected by the people of India from the respective constituency, and Lok Sabha has the members strength of 545. Members of Rajya Sabha is the period of 6 years, and this 6 years is on a rotating basis. That means 1/3 of the members retire every 2 years, so there is no full strength that goes all together. So you have 1/3 of members that would retire every 2 years, and then you have new members that will keep coming into Rajya Sabha. However, the members of Lok Sabha is for a period of 5 years. So that's about the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Now the basic question is why do we need a parliament? This parliament, which is composed of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, which is also known as Sansad, basically represents the people's view and the idea of the people. Now, when we are saying people who forms the base of a democratic government have the conscience in the parliament, it all started with the rise of nationalism. Till the time of British period in India, what was there was we basically have to follow what Britishers said, and there was no freedom, no equality, and no participation of the common man that was prevalent in the society. As a result, people felt a need to have a representation, so they could raise their voice. So in 1885, when Indian National Congress was formed, they started demanding that their elected members should be the part of the legislature. Later in 1909, that was the Government of India Act. They allowed some of the people for elected representation. So with this background, we started with the need or a rise of parliament. As we said, the member of the parliament are elected, so by elections you have the people who came into the power, and these people who came into the power ultimately help control and guide the government. Now, as we said, most of the people who are the part of the parliament are elected. Few of those are nominated in Rajya Sabha, and this is done in the principles of voting, that's the universal adult franchise, right to vote for all adult citizens. Now, till 2004, voting was done in ballot paper. After 2004, there is electronic voting machines came up for the first time. Now the best idea using an EVM or electronic voting machine, it's saving so much of paper, quick computation, quick results and quick analysis. So when it come on to saving the paper, this shows for 2004 general elections, it says 8,000 tons of paper was saved because of no need of printing ballot papers, and around 1,50,000 trees were saved from being cut. So from then we are using the EVM or electronic voting machine.